Q angle. Yeah, and just so you know, Trump has the same Q angle. If you ever watched the video from after he got his mug shot, he's walking out and you can just see it right as he's walking. But I'm in Song of Songs, chapter 6, and so if you've watched my video series, you know about the prophecy in Song of Songs, and it's, you know, the bride and the bridegroom, and the death and resurrection hidden right in this book. And now we got in verse 16, who is this that is looking forth as morning? Think of that, the morning sun rising with healing in his wings. The resurrection, but this one's, you know, as fair as the moon, kind of, you know, the bride getting compared to a moon, clear as the sun, you know, kind of resurrecting like the sun, awe-inspiring as bannered host. Now, I want to point something out with that, because I did go over that verse in the last video, but there's, you know, more I can speak on, like in Hebrews. You know, if you start in chapter 3, really, I mean, you got speaking about Moses and Jesus, you know, and the houses, and it says, therefore, as just as the Holy Spirit says, today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in the rebellion, as on the day of tempting in the wilderness, when your fathers provoked me, putting me to the test, and they saw my works for 40 years, so I was angry with that generation. And I said, at all times they go astray in heart, and they have not known my ways, so I swore in my indignation they shall not enter into my rest. Now you can see the type and shadow here, because they were coming up against Moses in the wilderness, his chosen man at the time. He was bringing them the rest there, you know, getting them away from, you know, taking them away from their slavery they were in, their bondage. And so, and they weren't listening to his voice. And then he got it again. Today, if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts as in rebellion. You get into chapter 4, still speaking, and look, and as I sworn in my indignation, they shall not enter into my rest. He's really mentioning about that, and you know the voice connected to that. And they shall not enter into my rest. Look at that, 4 times right there. Oh, look, even again, right down here. And as it has been said, today if you hear his voice, do not harden your hearts. For if Joshua had caused them to rest, guys, you can go back to those type and shadows in the prophecy. You know, you got Elijah coming. You know, the day they'll burn like an oven, that will leave them neither root nor branch. And you know that Ephraim is struck, and their root is dried up in Hosea, and that's, you know, him dying. Because then you get to Zechariah 3, and you got Joshua, a stick plucked out of the fire, which Hosea, you know, Ephraim is the anointed one among the peoples, a cake not turned, a burnt offering. So that Joshua gets that stick plucked out of the fire, he has a messenger before him, and he says that, you know, before Joshua had the stone with 7 eyes on it, the stone being the queen, the daughter of the offering. So you got this little type and shadow here that so Joshua caused them to rest. He would not after these things. And she's called the branch in Zechariah 3, so you get that Elijah, neither root nor branch. So you got the root being, you know, the king, and the branch being the queen. So he would not after these things have spoken about another day. Consequently, there remains a Sabbath rest for the people of God. For he who has entered into his rest has also rested from his works. And that Joshua is going to, you know, go up and rest from the enemies for at times and half a times. And as God has from his own, we should therefore be diligent to enter into that rest, in case anybody might fall into the same example of unbelief. Think without faith it's impossible to please God. Paul writes that in Hebrews. I'm going to show you something too from, I did the video, The Last Crusades, Twitter X, 1984 Last Crusade, that Mark of the Beast predictive programming. showing you that little symbolism behind X. And I'll show you the little clip. I kind of stood in front of a pole and put my arms up in the X. So you kind of got to just imagine a nail going through there. So it's like, nail going through there for the X. And you can kind of get that in that Twitter X. You see how it's like a thicker board and then it's like a nail driving through there. But I'm going to show you the clip from 1984. Death, traitor. Look, they're doing the X. So in Hebrews 10, he sets aside the first in order that he might establish the second. I've spoken about this in other videos, because at first, it's being that first body that was prepared for the second one speaking here, because this is Psalm 40, and in that one it mentions how his sins were more than the hairs of his head, and Paul even tells you in Hebrews 4 that Jesus was without sin, and that's that second one, because he even tells you, but he, having offered one sacrifice for sin, Jesus, being the heavenly one, not, because he's going in contrasting between the tabernacle system that Moses made and the heavenly things they foreshadowed, which Jesus was called the first tabernacle in Hebrews 10, and there's actually a second tabernacle, and you should know that there's 2 cherubim in that second innermost sanctuary where the Ark of the Covenant is, and so they're hidden right in there. And I'll write something out and I'll put it in the comment section too to kind of cover over this too again if you haven't heard this before. But that's how Jesus sat down and at the right hand of God, from then on waiting until his enemies are made a stool for his feet, because that's that second one that's going to do it. But when you understand those types and shadows, and I spoke about it more too, like in the video Vengeance Will Be Mine, because I went over this chapter pretty good, because it ends up speaking about the vengeance belongs to me, and so I covered this chapter in that video. But in chapter 13 of Hebrews, when you understand those types and shadows, it's telling you about we have an altar from which those who serve the tabernacle system do not have authority to eat, for the bodies of those animals whose blood is brought by the high priest into the innermost sanctuary concerning sin are burned outside the camp. So when you know about the tabernacle system and that they're a shadow and representation of heavenly things, there's that second tabernacle system, the heavenly versions coming, and they're burned outside the camp. Consequently, Jesus also, so that he might set apart the people by his own blood, suffered outside the gate. Let us then go to him outside the camp, bearing his disgrace, for we do not here have a permanent city, but we are looking for the one coming. So there's that coming one. And there's also the queen getting compared as the New Jerusalem, which if you've watched all of my previous videos from the Day of Yahweh, Day of the King and Queen, on up to this one, you would, get that reference. Because even so, in Hebrews 10, he's talking about the coming one and how the righteous man will live by faith. It's actually chapter 9 of Hebrews, not 10, where Jesus is, that first tabernacle. But so that more Christ will have him become high priest of good things, coming by a superior, more perfect tabernacle, not made by hands, not of this creation, what Moses made in that tabernacle system, nor by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, then entered once and for all into the innermost sanctuary. You see, his first, and now he's going into the second, because he's going behind that veil, just like in chapter 6 mentions. We have as an anchor of life, firm and secure, making entrance into the inner area of the veil. I think where the innermost sanctuary is behind there, where a forerunner entered for us, Jesus. But now I'm going to show you. So remember that little clip I showed you in 1984 where they're going deaf, and making that X with their hands? Well, if I would have showed a longer clip, they end up showing that symbol there with that V and that INGSOC. Well, check it out though. I mean, they got other stuff in the video like this Victory brand gin. Victory gin. And they even got it like with cigarettes and stuff in the movie. But now check this out. So the Trump, he's got these sneakers. The GetTrumpSneakers.com, all sold out. But you see they got the T on the outside. That's kind of like a cross or crucifixion. Think outside the gates, outside the city, from Hebrews 13. With those heavenly ones waiting to come. Kind of a little mockery. You got the two T's in the front, one for each shoe. And I'll get to that too. I'll look at 2 behind the tongue. I think there's another 2 behind the other tongue, like 22 for the V. It's just a big old mockery for those that don't know the word. Now check this out. This gets crazy. Nobody's mentioned this at all. What I'm about to show. Trump perfume and cologne called Victory. V for Victory. Isn't it funny too? Because that guy in the 1984 was like a charismatic leader, had everyone riled up and jumping, going, death, death. They must have thought he was going to save the nation. Victory cologne, Victory perfume, V for Victory. Amos 8, Adonai Yahweh showed this to me. And what did I see? But a basket of summer fruit. And he said, Amos, what do you see? And I said, a basket of summer fruit. Then Yahweh said to me, the end has come on my people Israel. I will not overlook them any longer. And the songs of the temple will become howlings in that day, declares Adonai Yahweh. Many corpses in every place, they will throw them out in silence. Hear this, you who swallow up a needy man to make the poor of the land fail, saying, when will the new moon be gone? Now, remember what I spoke about in the video at the beginning? About the moon being fair as the moon, right here, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, looking forth as the morning. And we went to Hebrews with that rest. Well, new moon is a Sabbath. Consider this being the queen here, and they're looking for her to be gone, all shadowed in here, so that we can sell corn and the Sabbath, so that we can trade wheat to diminish the ephah, and to enlarge the shekel, and to falsify the balances by deceit, so that we can buy the impoverished for silver and a needy man for a pair of shoes, like those Trump shoes. You can be those, consider those like sandals too. And sell the chaff of the wheat. Now look, those pair of shoes, we got that right to redeem. But before I do that, I want to show you in Hebrews 9, on account of this, because it talks about Jesus offering himself without spot to God. So on account of this, Jesus, he is a mediator of a new covenant, on death having taken place as a redemption price for the transgressions under the first covenant. Those having been called might receive the promised age-enduring inheritance. But just in a little while yet the coming one will be present, he will not delay. 10:37 of Hebrews there, but back in Hebrews 9. For where there is a testament, it has to be announced at the death of a testator. Jesus was that testator of that first covenant. Now we get that new covenant. For testament is confirmed on the basis of a deceased, since it is of no force while a testator is alive. See, the second covenant needs to be confirmed. On which grounds, not even the first was inaugurated without blood, and that's how it was confirmed. But now, right here, Boaz. We got these little types and shadows. Because even Jesus mentioned in Matthew 24 about looking to the book of Daniel, how he mentioned it, so he puts that in the future. Well, in Daniel, they go and anoint the most holy place, and inside the most holy place is 2 cherubim. Let's see, I'm going to start in verse 4 of Ruth 4:4. And I thought to disclose it to your ear, saying, redeem it in the presence of those seated and before the elders of my people. If you will redeem it, redeem it. But if you will not redeem it, tell me, so that I might know, for there is nobody to redeem it except you, and I am next after you. So you got the two right there. And he said, I will redeem it. Then Boaz said, on the day you buy the field from the hand of Naomi and from Ruth the Moabitess, you also acquire the wife of the dead man in order to raise up the name of the dead man with his inheritance. And the relative said, I cannot redeem it for myself in case I might mar my own inheritance. You redeem my right to yourself, for I cannot redeem it. Now this was the custom in former times of Israel concerning redeeming and concerning exchanging to confirm everything. A man would pluck off a sandal and give it to the other man. And this was the agreement in Israel. You know why there's a pair of shoes? It's a pair of sandals. One for the king, one for the queen. So the relative said to Boaz, buy it for yourself. So he took off his sandal. And Boaz said to the elders and all the people, you are witnesses this day, and I have bought everything that had belonged to Elimelech and everything that had belonged to Chilion and Milon from the hands of Naomi. That redemption price set that Jesus set. See, foreshadows here. In addition, Ruth the Moabitess, the wife of Mahlon, and I am acquiring to be my wife, to continue the name of the dead man with his inheritance, so that the name of the dead man is not cut off from among his brothers, and you from his status at the gate. You are witnesses this day. And all the people at the gate and elders said, we are witnesses. May Yahweh make the woman who has come into your house like Rachel and like Leah, both of whom have built up the house of Israel. It's almost like, may Yahweh make you like Ephraim and Manasseh, and he set Ephraim before Manasseh, and Genesis 48. It's like verse 20, 21, 22, something like that. Right in that general area. But, and may you prosper in Ephratah and proclaim the name in Bethlehem. Now, if you read, Genesis 35 and even 48, but, when Rachel died in Genesis 35, they were walking from Bethel to Ephrath, which is Bethlehem, and it was a short walk. Bethel is where, he saw the El Shaddai and all that. And so being an Ephrathite is being a Bethlehemite. It's the same place. Because then you read 1 Chronicles 7, and it mentions about Manasseh, their genealogies, and Ephraim's, and then it mentions Bethel and its towns. And it goes on to say, in these lived the sons of Joseph. Ephrath, which is Bethlehem, was a short walk from Bethel. And in Joshua 15, when it shows Judah's inheritance, there's no Bethlehem listed. It's a lie, because read Jeremiah 8, it mentions how Judah won't be gathered and that their lying pen of their scribes work deceit. Because then it says in Jeremiah 17 that the sin of Judah is written with a pen of iron inscribed in their hearts on the horns of their altars. Their horns on the altars are the pastors and all their church pews, and saying Jesus is of Judah. He's not. He's of Ephraim. And when you know that the Messiah comes through Joseph, because it mentions from the shepherd, the son of Israel, you would know there's a second one coming. It's a lie. Because they even sneak the lie in this book and try to put, Judah. We're back here in Amos 8, so you get it? When will the new moon be gone? When will the queen be gone? They want her dead. Because a pair of shoes, that's the redemption. Now, here, this gives it away, the rest of this passage. Yahweh has sworn by the excellency of Jacob, surely I will Never forget any of their works. Will the land not tremble for this? Will everyone who lives in it mourn? All of it will swell like a river, and it will overflow and subside like the river of Egypt. Because, the anointed one getting taken away with a flood, but he's going to run away, and then later they're going to run away, and the flood waters will subside at that point. And it will come to pass in that day, declares Adonai Yahweh, that I will cause the sun to go down at noon, and I will darken the earth in the day of night. Now think, to those who revere my name, the Son of Righteousness will rise with healing in his wings. He has to go down first. That's the death right here. Because look, and I will turn your festivals into mourning and all your songs into lamentation, and I will bring sackcloth on all loins. That's, those two witnesses. And baldness on every head, and I will make it like mourning for an only son, and its end a bitter day. Because that wedding feast video, I showed you how the queen takes that drink offering, and then you got the two witnesses, and you see that Psalm 116, that I am your servant, son of the hand of your handmaid. Well, I'm considering this, but have you ever thought that, those two witnesses could be male and female, those ones who believe this message? So you got to guard the queen. But look, the days are coming, declares Adonai Yahweh, that I will send famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh. And they will wander from sea to sea and from north to the east, and they will run about to search for the word of Yahweh, and they will not find it. In that day the fair virgins and the young men will faint for thirst. Those who swear by the trespass of Samaria say, your God Dan lives, and the way of Beersheba lives, and will fall, and they will never rise again. See, there's all these references that say from Dan to Beersheba in the Old Testament, but Beersheba is actually a city in Judah. When you see that, Joshua 15. And it's actually, this would be another lie, because the spots they take out for Joseph, they have also replaced, where it would say Judah here, where it says Dan to Beersheba everywhere, but Beersheba's in Judah. It's your God Judah lives, and the way Beersheba lives. It's their cover-up. See Joshua 15, for this is an inheritance of the sons of Judah, in keeping with their families in the outer cities of the tribes of the sons of Judah towards the border of Edom in the south. And got all these cities named, you get to verse 28, and Beersheba, but you read through all this, there's no Bethlehem. They lied. 1776, Redcoats surrounding Romeo and Juliet, Sons of Light versus Sons of Darkness, Trump coin. So look, here's a video I found, Donald Trump wearing a red coat, and I've told you in a video like I did 4 months ago at least, and I said Trump was the Queen of Hearts. And now watch his hands. Look, the heart. Queen of Hearts. Trump is actually a tranny, too. It's a woman. So Trump card, Queen of Hearts. You can see it clearer in the actual video.
There was going to be a Queen of Hearts there. When I was first watching it, I just said to myself that there would be one there, and sure enough, so you got the two aces, the 88, and the Queen of Hearts. And aces, those can either be 1 or 11, so there's a couple different things it can be. Now, if you watched my videos, all my predictive programming ones, like the Snow White, Twilight, and I talked about the Twin Towers in there, like how they're being, representing, the king and queen going down, that, they're going to kill each one. Like, you got September 11 in that dead man's hand, Mr. Wick, and I guess September 11 there.
Antichrist revealed.
Antichrist revealed. Trump, text Trump to 88022. Make America great again, 2024. So those two aces, two 11s, 11 plus 11 equals 22. And that's also the V, which V can be for the woman. Which, if you watch my other videos, I showed that code in there.
Funny how those cards match up.
I'll show you something else too. With that same dead man's hand, Mr.
Even has 22 on there, which if you watch the video, it shows it clearer.
Trump code 882, 022. That's those two aces there.
But yeah. So that was, like I said, from the Trump card, Queen of Hearts. And I kind of show that scene at the beginning of the Trump card extras video, but you see how it's a 8-8 and two aces and the Queen of Hearts. So 8-8 on that text Trump, 88022, ace, because you know how that can be 1 or 11. So you got the 22, 88022, Queen of Hearts, Antichrist revealed, Trump. And I first called them the Queen of Hearts, I believe, in this Snow White Twilight video, and that's like, yeah, from September 4th, 2023. So I'm going to show you a clip from the beginning of Twilight New Moon, and you're going to see how it foreshadows what's written in Amos 8 about the new moon, and because she's going to be running through redcoats, like you saw in the clip earlier when there was a knocking and Bella wakes up and there's that book, the Romeo and Juliet, surrounded by the redcoats. It's foreshadowing of the king and queen. And that's at the beginning of the movie because it's from the clip I'm going to show you is what happened before that scene. But you know about the sun going down at noon, and you know about the pair of shoes now because it's the king and queen. And what you're going to see too on there, so when she runs through the redcoats, you're going to see the clock strike noon, and all of a sudden she's going to be running, and boom, she's going to go through the trees, and she's going to be in the field. It's like the Song of Songs, chapter 7, I am my beloved, and on me is his desire. Come, my beloved, we go forth to the field, we lodge in villages, and we go early to the vineyards. See, you know about the Micah 4, and about the Tower of the Flock, and the the daughter of Zion. That's that daughter of the offering. Look, when she's going to be in labor, for meanwhile you will go out of the city, and you will go live in the field. She's going to be in the city running through redcoats. Sun's going down at noon. If you watch my series, you know, after he dies, she gets the drink offering, and then she goes out in the field. You will live in the field, and you will go to Babylon. From there you will be delivered, and Yahweh will redeem you from the hands of your enemy. How many nations have gathered against you, who say, let her be defiled. They're going to kill her, but she's going to be resurrected.
And in their triumph die, like fire and powder, which as they kiss, consume.
So did you also notice the talk of witches? Well, in this video, Twins of a Row, where I show the predictive programming and Fantastic Beasts, the Secrets of Dumbledore, and part 3 of that movie. They got type and shadows in there, and that same Kristen Stewart, she wears this shirt, and it's got the yellow, red, and blue on it with the 3 on the yellow. Kind of lines up with that, which is kind of weird. But there's a scene in this movie where they talk about witches, and they throw a nail down at this guy's foot, and he ends up hitting him with his wand, and like a glittering type spear at him, and he's dead, figuratively foreshadowed, and it shows the glory of Ephraim fly away, a bird flying away. And he was calling the one a witch there, and you always hear about Donald Trump talking about a witch hunt. That's the new moon, that Sabbath. He's going to call her a witch. And now, in that fair as the moon, clear as the sun video, I show a clip in there too with so towards the end of that, this full moon by the Black Ghost at the beginning, where she's talking about dying in the place of someone she loves, and then she ends up leaving the city and going out in the field, and it plays the song, and it goes, when the full moon turns white, that's when I'll come home. I am going out to see what I can sow, like leaving the city, going out in the field. And like the morning sun, your eyes will follow me as they watch me wander. Curse the powers that be. It's the morning sun, sun of righteousness rising up, because the sun goes down at noon, but then the sun of righteousness rising with healing in its wings. And then you got that Joshua, the stick plucked out of the fire with a stone before him with the 7 eyes on it, which represent the 7 ecclesia groups. So ones that, follow the sun, they'll follow the queen too. And then the cursing the powers that be. Well, Kristen Stewart, roast Trump for tweeting, about her, Robert Pattinson breakup, a long time ago. But, F you, beach. And that's a recent article, February 14th. And there's other songs from the Twilight series that got these strange little like prophetic undertones in them. Like the Flightless Bird, American Mouth song. See, at the end of the first Twilight movie, they're dancing, and you hear that Flightless Bird, Have I Found You, and Blood of Christ, Mountain Stream. Mountain can be for rulers and kings. Stream, you got that river. It's like a line. The bloodline of Christ. And now, look at the lyrics. So, then the cops close the fair. I cut my long baby hair. And it's like number 6:18. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the entrance of the tent of the meeting, and take the hair of the head of his separation, and put it in the fire which is under the sacrifice of the shalom offerings, the peace offerings. And so the fat house cat, and let's see. But, so, you watch the Day of Yahweh, Day of the King and Queen. I went into the Ezekiel chapter, I forget the exact chapter. I want to say it was chapter 19. Sorry if I guessed wrong on that, but it's with the two with the eagle wings. It's the king and the queen, because they're going to be resurrected with wings, because that spirit has mended her up with wings, which I found like all the translations basically get that one wrong. So have I found you, flightless bird? Weeping, or have I lost you? American mouth, big pill looming. Well, this is kind of a big pill, huh? You got the red or blue one. Got the king and queen. Have I found you, flightless bird? Brown hair bleeding, or lost you? But yeah, so I'm going to show you something interesting too, going into that new moon Twilight movie with that Blood of Christ mountain stream. Blood of Christ mountain stream down her arm. Oh, a stream of Christ's blood. Wonder what they're trying to tell you. And that's like the drink offering right there. Now, Possibility is another song that's in the Twilight New Moon, Because after he leaves, you hear her say, "By blood and by me, I fall when you leave. So tell me when you hear my heart stops, your heart stops, you die. But by blood and by me, I'll fall when you leave. By blood and by me, I follow your lead." And if you watch the other videos, like the Desert Rose video, tell about the dream and the vision, and how it went to Numbers 24, and the one following their lead had their latter end be like his. It's going to be the king dying and the queen dying too. This goes with that drink offering. And if you know about Zephaniah, you got that day of Yahweh. He's got a sacrifice, and his hand is going to be stretched out against Judah and against all the inhabitants of Jerusalem. It's just like Isaiah 9 says about Ephraim, Manasseh, Ephraim. Together they will be against Judah. And you got this day of trouble and distress, of waste and desolation, darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of the ram's horn, yes, alarms against the fenced cities and against the high towers. I will bring distress on all men, so that they will walk like blind men, because they have sinned against Yahweh, and their blood will be poured out like dust, and their flesh like dung. Neither their silver nor their gold will be able to deliver them in the day of Yahweh's anger, but the whole land will be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he will make speedy riddance of all who live in that land. If you read in here and you get later down in this chapter, like to chapter 3, you hear about the beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my worshippers, the daughter of my dispersed will bring my offering. That's at Micah 4. You got that tower of the flock and that daughter of Zion. That's the one that's going to leave the city and go out in the field, taking the drink offering. And there's going to be singing and rejoicing. He will rejoice over you with joy, and he will be quiet in his love, and he will rejoice over you with singing. That's just like in Song of Songs, the singing and rejoicing over the bride. And they try to sneak in Jerusalem here. In that day it will be said to Jerusalem, no, because they already told you that I will stretch out my hand against Judah and against the inhabitants of Jerusalem. Because look, he's talking about his love. It's to the bride. I will gather from among you those who are sorrowful over the appointed place. Those that feel sorrow for it, those are the ones that would guard the queen and protect her with their life. If it's, if they have the ability to. Those among you whom it's a reproach is a burden. Because other ones are going to say, oh, she's a witch. They're witch hunt predictive programming. As you will see at that time, I will deal with those who afflict you. All those that come against the queen will perish. And I will save her who is lame, and I will gather her who was driven away, and I will appoint them as praise. And that's going to go, all of them too, from that house of Ephraim and Joseph from Micah 4. Because that Migdal Eder, that's a reference to Genesis 35. I want to say it's verse 21, that Migdal Eder tower. But so, and a name in every land of their shame, and at that time I will bring you back, and in that time I will gather you. Jeremiah 8, Judah will not be gathered. For I will appoint you as a name and as a praise among all people of the earth, and then I will bring back your captives right in front of your eyes. See, they try replacing the queen with Jerusalem and other spots too. But now check out this next clip I'm going to show you, because it's going to be Bella's going to be sitting there with Jacob, and the phone's going to ring. It's Edward, because previously she jumped off this little cliff into the water, and flood waters covered her, and Alice thought she was dead, so she went to see her. And then Edward found out why she went there, and he called, and then Jacob says she's going to a funeral. Well, Edward, they show him, And he squeezes the phone and breaks it, the fire of his jealousy. But guess where he's at? Rio de Janeiro, where there's a statue of Jesus. And if you've seen the series that I've been doing, there's living descendants of Jesus. And the one who dies first and goes away and then gives her the drink offering, he's going to be up in heaven with his father, Jesus. But he's crowned king then. And so you see Edward with Jesus.
Swan resonance. He's not here right now. He's arranging a funeral.
Revelation 19, give preeminence to him, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his wife has made herself ready. It was given to her that she should be clothed in pure linen. Now look, this is that Revelation feast day. Because come, gather yourselves for the feast of the mighty God, so you can eat the flesh of kings, flesh of commanders, of thousands, the flesh of the mighty men, flesh of horses, and of those who sit on them, the flesh of all, both free men and servants, both lowly and eminent. And I saw the beasts and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war with the one sitting on the horse and their army. And you know about the horse and its riders, the king and the queen. If you watched my video series, I explained that out.
And everyone says that once I'm changed, all I'm gonna want is to slaughter the whole town.
That part doesn't last forever.
I want you.
That was from Twilight Eclispe. Now check it out, Psalm 116. So, return to your rest, O my inner being, because Yahweh has blessed you, for you have rescued my life from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from falling. Now think to that. The one going out into the field from Micah 4 to be delivered is delivering her. But anyways, I will take the cup of salvation, and I will call on the name of Yahweh, and I will make my vows to Yahweh now in the presence of all his people. And the queen making her marriage vows to the Lord. Marriage happens after her resurrection, though. You have loosened my chains. I will sacrifice to you the sacrifice of thanksgiving, and I will call on the name of Yahweh. I will make my vows to Yahweh, now in the presence of all his people.
I'll marry you. Just try.
So that was the same Twilight Eclispe movie, and see her, making her vows to him. But he does get down and proposes to her there, but they play this song by Sia, My Love, and it's kind of funny because the lyrics don't really make sense to the movie because, he's a vampire. But so, my love, leave yourself behind, beat inside me. How would you do that? A drink offering? You gave it all, you gave into the call. I think he sets aside the first to establish the second. It's the calling to continue, to do the atonement process. You give thoughtfully, love me faithfully, tell me honor. Tonight you will sleep for good. Sleeping in the Bible, that's a reference for dying, sleeping for good. You'll die. Because that's when he'll leave himself behind for the drink offering. See, you gave me all. You gave all you had. Gave his life. She took my hand and added a plan. And that marriage vows, that's the part they were actually playing in the movie. That's the lyrics that played next. And it's funny too, because also, so leave yourself behind, leave you blind, my love, look what you can do, I am mending, I'll be with you. Funny, because Hosea chapter 4, from the day of Yahweh, day of the king and queen, I covered it in more detail than I'm gonna right now, but You got I will lay prostrate your mother, and you got this feast day with the sin offering of my people they eat, and they lift up their desire. And I explained how this is actually talking about more than one sin offering here, and eating, because you eat the king and the queen in this feast day. And how has it saying the wind has wrapped her up in its wings, and they will be ashamed because of their sacrifices, because they're going to eat the sin offerings. But properly, this should be translated: the Spirit has mended her up with wings. Now it says, I am mending and I'll be with you, because that's when it's going to happen. At the mending her up and binding her with wings. So this Destroying the Bloodline video was one of the first ones I did where I watched the movie and I took the biblical undertones in it, and that's got the Da Vinci Code stuff in there about the bloodline of Christ and them destroying it, and there is actually a woman in there who's a descendant of Jesus in there, but I didn't put that part in the video there. But so it had me looking at other movies, like I found the Lord of the Rings and all the stuff regarding the exiled Christ in there, about the one from the north, and with the Micah. And then, the Twilight, I saw all that stuff, and basically, too, I've realized the undertones in there, and, I decided to look at her ancient coat of arms, and to my surprise, it was like a swan, like a goose, a pelican, bird, and with the little birds underneath it in its nest, like the mother. But when my water changed to wine and I drank it, and it was sweet in my mouth and bitter in my stomach, and that bird was created in front of me, and then all the little birds, doves after, and it looks just like her coat of arms. So I continued into it and looked into it, and then the golden goose. He had Trump mention about the golden goose, and there's a golden goose in Twilight. And I made mention of, like in the movie American Ultra she's in, where she's the CIA agent in there, the handler. But I suggested that actually her girlfriend, husband type deal, the little fake relationship, that he is the handler. Because I expose that Dylan is a guy in this one. And a lot of the stuff ain't really as you think. And there's all the MK Ultra undertones, though, in that Snow White, Twilight. Throughout the Twilight series and other movies she's in. And I show more of it in the White Rabbit Hole. All the stuff they can do with MK Ultra, like the shock therapy. They can remotely just send shocks. So it's probably pretty easy to get someone to obey if they know they just got to hit a button. Who would believe, the actor, actress, if they were to make that claim? It's easy to get them to follow along. Now, it's funny, in the first Twilight, here's another song where she's in the bookstore and she's with her friends, and she's thinking about going to get a book instead, and they're like, oh, you're not really interested in this, are you? And they're playing this song, I Caught Myself by Paramore, which, pushing and pulling me down to you, but I don't know what I want. No, I don't know what I want. You got it. Some kind of magic, hypnotic. You're leaving me breathless. I hate this. You're not the one I believe in, with God as my witness. Now, when I caught myself, I had to stop myself. I'm saying something that I should have never thought. Now I caught myself, I had to stop myself. I'm saying something that I shouldn't have never thought of you. Now, in the first movie, Twilight, there's no little triangle thing going on at all in that point. Yeah, she knows Jacob, but she's into Edward. They haven't even dwelt into that, little triangle deal at all. So the song didn't really make too much sense for that. But
like inhale the internet, if we were to all just die right now, and just and our footprint was this sort of echo of like disparity, I would be proud of that. Like, love me. We just want to be like, can you see me? What is me? Am I anything? Am I distinct? I don't know. Am I worth loving? I don't know. It's a movie about.
See, these were, you know, September 23, September, yeah, October. So I did all those videos, right? And then this Day of Yahweh, Day of the King and Queen, like towards the end of it, I showed how like I sang some Aerosmith songs, and like Crazy and Crying. And then like 10 days later, she was at this place taking photos with Eclispe Silverstone, the girl from those videos, and she had those rings on with the 22 or 11, you could say. And I thought that was kind of a weird little coincidence. It's like maybe she was seeing the videos, because I made so much references to the 11 and the 22 in these series, and for her to have that on there. And then you see how that was in January, that video that I just showed of her at the Sundance. And so yeah, it's September, and that Eclispe Silverstone stuff was in December, so it has me thinking, well, maybe she has seen these, because a lot of people do watch videos that talk on them. I'm probably one of the only ones that's not on here, you know, talking trash about her. And yeah, I know it's out there, but pretty much suggesting that she's the heir of the throne in these videos. And then it's almost, you know, if I'm actually right about that being her handler, I think that would be pretty eye-popping to actually watch a video saying that, wouldn't you? And it's like she caught herself when she was like, what am I? Put her hand over her mouth. Like the queen, we should, you know, don't say that.
We just want to be like, can you see me? What is me? Am I anything? Am I distinct? I don't know. Am I worth loving? I don't know. It's
Now when I caught myself, I had to stop myself.
Every 30 seconds, like every split second.
Kind of weird though, huh? Now there's some more stuff I've seen in some articles. I seen something talking about like a remote, and I can't find it anymore now though. I think it was on a different Rolling Stone, because like this is a Rolling Stone article, but they did ones like so many days after too, and you got to be subscribed to them now. And yeah, I'm not gonna subscribe to Rolling Stone, but now if you imagine if you're under MK Ultra, there's only so much you can say. Like you can't just pop out and stay without, you can get a remote shock or whatever. And but maybe you can speak in code to these article writers. Now, like, look at this. So she's talking about when her and Dylan moving in, like her handler. But when she moved into this house, I had no curtains, 3 forks, and I never drank coffee. And I was like, I don't sleep. And that sleep deprivation thing is something they do with MK Ultra people. And she's like, in the morning you drink coffee and you work and you're alive and you're awake, and then at night you close the curtains. In retrospect, it was so obvious. It's kind of a strange thing to wrap your mind around what she just said. I don't drink coffee ever, and I don't sleep, so why would you drink coffee in the morning? And you see how it's going? It's like, oh, she's kind of like, she's in control, that Dylan is. And let me go down here a little more. There's something else I saw. Just so you know that life is a beautiful thing. Do you know Mr. Brainwash? Stewart motions to a graffitied wall. He came over with a friend of mine and did this. And I was like, so I know that I do sort of live in a frat house, but that is a psychotic. Do you know what I mean? To think that you could just do that to someone's fucking house. Sorry. During the pandemic, Stewart graffitied the word mainly underneath in all caps. Anyways, she continued shrugging just to contextualize that. F that guy. Who? Mr. Brainwash. You know that Dylan's actually a dude. Doesn't have a Q angle. I showed it in that Golden Goose video. But check it out though, to go with those songs. Because it made me think of this other song. So when she said, when I moved into this house, I had no curtains. That song, you know, when Edward saves her with the car in the first Twilight, it starts playing. It's a song, Tremble for My Love. And it says, you know, your windows open wide. See, the hour has begun. Your eyes have now opened to a world where madness craves, to a world where hope's enslaved. Think, the mystery, Christ in you, the hope of glory. And I'll tremble for my love always. Your windows open wide. Your innocence takes flight. Pretty strange, huh?
I want to show you something.
What? You were a twin, Angela. Twins tend to think alike.
I'm not like my sister.
But you were once. You were kids. You'd spend every second with each other. You'd start a sentence, she'd finish it. You'd get hurt, she'd cry.
That was a long time ago.
That kind of bond doesn't just disappear.
There is nothing here.
She'd find her death in the street. She thought enough great deal. I knew your step. She knew you'd come. She counted on you to see what she saw, feel what she felt, know what she knew.
Edward Cullen.
I held my breath right from the start. I knew that I'd found the home for my heart.
So that song was Christina Perri, 1,000 Years. Now check out the lyrics in here. How can I love when I'm afraid to fall? I'm afraid of death, maybe? Watching you stand alone, all my doubt suddenly goes away. One step closer. And if you go back to those dreams, which I spoke about, if you start from like the Lilies of the Field video and work onward, like I show you, I speak on the visions more and how I saw, you know, looking down and then looking up and then laying down and seeing him walk across, you know, from the other side of the river with the cross, with his cross. But I figured out the riddle of it was seeing what she saw, feeling what she felt. And then I saw, you know, opened up the bushes and then saw the sun rise up, you know, with train tracks as far as eyes could see, you know, one step closer after each of those little steps in the vision. Listen them die for the belief. So I have died every day waiting for you. Don't be afraid. I have loved you for 1,000 years. Love you 1,000 more. That's like the, you know, the day of Yahweh. It's 1,000 years. That's when the prophecies end. But, you know, life still continues on beyond that. Time stands still, beauty in all she is. I will be brave and not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. Every breath, every hour has come to this. Revelation 3. The Holy One, the True One, having the keys of David, the one opening and nobody can shut it except he who opens, and nobody is able to, nor is anybody able to open, says these things. I know your works. See now, I have given you in your sight an open door, and nobody is able to shut it. See, I will not let anything take away what's standing in front of me. It's an open door. because you have a little strength and you kept my word and you did not deny my name. This, when those vows are going to be made, and cursing the powers that be. And as you will see, I will cause those from the synagogue of the enemy, those declaring themselves to be Judahites and are nothing but deceivers. Look it up in the concordance, nothing but deceivers. You put it this way, and it makes you think that Judah could be in the covenant. They're not gathered. It's the same way in Revelation 2:9. Those declaring themselves to be Judahites and are nothing but are the synagogue of the enemy. And it's speaking of those who are declaring themselves Jews. So, as you will see, I will cause it that they should come and cower before your feet, and know that I have loved you, because you have kept my word of my endurance. I, for my part, will keep you from the hour of testing that is about to come over the whole inhabited world to test those who live on the earth. I am coming quickly. Hold fast to what you have, in order that nobody might take away your crown. Her who comes off victorious, I will make a pillar in the sanctuary of my God, and she will go out no more, and I will write on her the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, the New Jerusalem, that's the queen there, which comes down from heaven from my God, and my new name. The queen's the new name.
What did you do there?
Been practicing.
Felt what she felt, saw what she saw. Twins of a row.